The misconception that it's blockchain, not Bitcoin, stems from the fact that firms or individuals or the CEOs do not understand how and why blockchain exists in the first place. I mean, if you think about the underlying conditions under which blockchain was created you will see that it just makes no sense to have a blockchain within a company. It just you're much faster just having everything in an immutable database and have different access points for it for different individuals. Blockchain itself, as a system of record keeping, is built for an open environment where everything could be compromised in a very hostile way. And in that environment, you need a unit, an economic unit of value to incentivize the miners in this case to keep the chain running and secure the chain. It's a classical example of the invisible hand. If you've read the Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, the main sort of idea there is that everybody working for his own benefit actually creates the wealth for the entire nation. This basically describes a system of incentives in which people working for their own interest increase the total pie, so to say. So it's the same thing in Bitcoin, in the sense that miners are only interested in getting those Bitcoins, which have economic value. And by solving those puzzles, they are securing the network. And that's the only way the blockchain works in the proof of work system. Now we have other systems right now, namely proof of stake, where the economic incentive is there, but you have to have coins to participate rather than buying expensive equipment that could become obsolete down the road. So as we iterate through technology, the role of token changes. In the third generation, token not only represents something of value that you earn by mining, but it also represents something that will give you the right to vote. For instance, in Cardano, the token is a way for stakeholders to express their vote on certain issues. You know, in Catalyst, we see that happening in real time. So token itself becomes this hybrid instrument that has economic value on one side, because it's the only, for now, the only thing that is accepted in Cardano ecosystem as a fuel. You can spend it to move value, and in the future, near future, you will be able to spend it in order to fund and fuel smart contracts. So that's the second way of spending it, or second way it could serve some sort of value, serve a purpose. And then there's a governance aspect to it, right? So in Cardano, the governments will be on chain, sort of, and you will be able to vote on issues with your ADA. So that becomes a multi-dimensional sort of issue there. It's no longer blockchain is serving to secure the chain, and Bitcoin is the currency of the chain, and that's the only thing that's being emitted, and there's nothing else that token represents except for being sort of a currency. So we are moving in a direction where tokens are something completely new. It's a hybrid, as I say, instrument that could represent currency, if you think about it that way. It could represent fuel, commodity, or utility, because it's used within an ecosystem to fuel a smart contract. Or it could represent a governance instrument where your token could be used to decide the direction of a chain. but as these platforms start eating the real world, the value of these tokens, especially if they are capped in supply, will grow significantly in some cases, because there's a finite supply. You can't just print it out of thin air. There's a supply schedule, and if the demand outstrips it, then the price will adjust accordingly. So yeah, one of the useful ways would be to think about it as a currency of a nation also, right? If you go, okay, US dollar is an exception, of course. It's accepted anywhere you want to go. But if you go to a country X, let's say you go to Russia, you take out your US dollar and you try to pay. They don't know. Yeah, first of all, they don't know the exchange rate, so it becomes a problem. Second, it's mandated by law to pay with rubles. So you have to exchange your dollars to another currency in order to be able to sort of carry your economic activities in that jurisdiction. So think about blockchains the same way. It's a space, it's a place in the hyperspace where the only accepted token or accepted currency is the token of that blockchain platform. And if you are in need of using that platform for one thing or another, then you have to do the exchange. Whatever currency you're coming from, you just come in and buy that token. You do your business, and then if you want to take out the value out of the system, you exchange it back. And as I was saying, as the number of utilities and dApps grows in a ecosystem like that, as it grows in prominence and economic activity, as it eats the world, its value will grow. There is also a question of transaction costs, right? So if you keep the transaction costs low, right? And if you have a system like in Cardano where you could change those transaction costs. In other words, they are fixed. They're not volatile. It's actually very good for developers if they want to, build something, at least on ADA level, on the level of the native token, they're fixed. It doesn't go up significantly. If, let's say, ADA goes to $10 or $100, there's a way to bring down the transaction costs so that there's always an incentive for developers to come in and build. So that's something that's decided. You need a third sort of layer of governance to actually make those decisions on the chain. So that's why governance is very important in that respect.